Okay, I'm gonna make a little tour of my garage here. My wife said people might be interested, so here we go. If you're not interested, I don't know why you clicked on the link. Stop watching. Okay, here we go. So I've got regular Craftsman that you used to be able to buy in Sears toolboxes. You probably can't buy them anymore, or maybe you can. Well, I think you still can. I don't know. I think, what is it? Lowe's has the Craftsman brand or now or something. Not sure, but it's your typical Craftsman. You know, got sockets and other sockets and all kinds of what have you in the toolbox. So we got that going. Yay. Got a Husky thing organizer for bolts and bits and crap. I've got this shade right here, which is really cool. I think it cost me like, I think it was like 60 bucks or something like that. Gonna lift it with this little thingy, and that's my backyard. Yay. But it's nice because it keeps the sun out when I don't want it in. Pegboard, screwdrivers, hammer, various stuff. I got another light right here, little bench light. I think I got that at Home Depot. Turn it off. Various plugs, got a vise. I just bought that actually because I broke another vise that I had for a long time, which was pretty sad. But so far, you know, decent vise. I got that on Amazon too. I'll put a link if you guys are interested. I actually got this particular brand because I watched Project Farm. I watched that a lot. I don't know if you guys watch that. It's amazing. The guy's amazing, and that particular vise was one of the better ones. So that's the one I got. Again, I'll put a link. Have a bunch of rechargeable what have yous. All my rechargeable stuff is here. I keep rechargeable AAA batteries because going through them with this, you'll spend a small fortune using just regular batteries. So yeah, I would highly recommend you use rechargeable batteries for things like this because you're just gonna spend so much money on batteries, and batteries are friggin' expensive. Okay, let's see. I've got my Durafan. I bought this off of Craigslist, I think. I think I've had this for, gosh, 5-6 years. It still goes really well, works really well. There you go. That's the highest speed. It moves a lot of air, which is really good for where I live, which is in Texas, and it's mostly hot here most of the time. Right now it's actually kind of cold because it's wintertime, but cold relatively speaking, meaning it's like 50 outside. So yeah, I got that off of Craigslist. A guy just was getting rid of it. I think I paid like 80 bucks for it, but pretty sure you can find something equivalent like this, or probably the exact same thing on Amazon. But it's probably more expensive. I think when I was looking, I think these fans were around 200 bucks for an equivalent type of fan. And yeah. So got that. Got another pegboard with power tools, air tools, heat gun. Got my square, got a Ford Racing apron cover thingy for when I'm working on the side of the car. Oh, I got this. This is the first paint gun I got, and I still have it. So this is a Spray It. I think it's a Spray It 2000 or something like that. This gun costs like 30 bucks, and it is. I mean, for the money, it's amazing. I have a a very loose 3M regulator on it that I need to tighten. But yeah, for the money, this gun is incredible. I've painted a lot of stuff with it. I painted a sunroof with it. Is it gonna fall? Okay. Painted a sunroof with it. It's really good for the money. It's not a great, you know, there's plenty of other spray guns that are much better and lay down a much better finish. But you know what, for the money, for the DIY guy, if you're looking to just, if you don't know that, if you want to really do painting and that kind of thing, I think it's an awesome gun. So yeah. Let's see, moving on. There's the only decoration that I have in here, really is this. Mostly because my other garage was a lot smaller. We moved here about a year, almost 2 years ago now. And this was all I had space for. So if you guys have good ideas for space, as you can see, those are 16-foot ceilings. I'll get into that in a second, but yeah, I've got a lot of space for stuff, and I don't know if I'm going to put stuff on there or not, but if you have good ideas, let me know. Regular clock, there you go. And you can see right there is the control remote for that right there, which is my second favorite thing in the garage, which is a Daikin mini split. This does air conditioning and heating. I had the heater on earlier because it was cold in here. I don't have it on right now. But plenty of videos on this. If you guys are on the fence getting a mini split, get it. I wish I would have got this thing years ago. If I'd have known how awesome it was, I would have got it years ago. If you're at all mechanically inclined, it's not hard to put in. I actually did not put this in myself, mostly because of the height that I would have had to put it in, which is, you can see, it's very high. I didn't have anyone to help me, and I just didn't want to fool with it, to be honest with you. I did almost every other thing in this garage except for I'll get into that, my lift installation. But I painted the entire garage myself, including the ceilings. I did the lights myself. Those are LED lights, pretty awesome. You can see in this corner, that was the original color for all of the walls. It was kind of an olive green. I originally decided to just paint the walls because I could not reach the ceiling. But then I bought scaffolding, which is right over there. It's the yellow thingy. I bought scaffolding because I wanted to be able to put in lights, because I got a quote for that, and the quote was ridiculous. I think mostly because the guy didn't want to get up there that high, and I don't really blame him, because it was not terribly fun. But anyway, I made a mistake when I was painting the walls. I hit part of the ceiling, and instead of having a random white splotch, I decided to put my wife's name on there. And then, of course, later I decided to paint the ceilings after I got the scaffolding, and I just like my wife's name up there, so I just left it. Some people come over and they go, "Hey, you made a mistake, you didn't paint." Like, no, I didn't make a mistake. It's there for a reason. So, you know. Over to the left, you can see that I have a jack shaft, a LiftMaster jack shaft garage door opener. My garage door goes straight up. You can see those rails, they go straight up. The wall's high enough that it doesn't even have to curve. The reason I got that is for this wonderful, wonderful thing right here, which is a Benpack GP7 Grand Prix 7 lift. I got this literally because I could, because I have the ceiling height to be able to do it, so I did it. It's a GP7. The reason I got this model is because this is the narrowest lift that they made at the time. They might make one narrower now, but I don't know. But this one was narrow enough that it would fit my one bay. I have a 3-car garage. I had a 2-car garage in my other place. And I wanted something that was small enough to fit just the one bay. And this fits the bill perfectly. Come over here. I've got, you know, it clears the second, the 2-car portion of the garage, so I don't have to worry about not being able to pull cars in. So That would have been bad if I'd have done that. In my other house, I had a Max Jacks, and that was what I fully intended to bring over to our new house. And the Max Jacks, you can bolt, you can bolt it in and bolt it out. That's what I did at my other house. I basically, the column on near the wall, I just left it bolted in. And then the one over here, I would unbolt it, and they have little wheels on the back there, and you can roll it over. Just do a search for Max Jacks, you'll see. I fell in love with that thing. Before that, I had a Quick Jack, which I fell in love with until I got the Max Jacks, and then after that, I was like, this is the most amazing thing ever, because it's basically a 2-post lift that's portable. So I intended to do that, but when my wife found this house with these ceilings, she sent me a picture, sent me an email, and she said, I found our house, and I think you're going to love the garage. And she was right. And fortunately, we got it. We didn't know if we were going to get it or not, because it was when the housing prices in this area were ridiculous. But yeah, we got it. So yeah, that's my most favorite of things in the garage is that lift. It's incredible. I am old now. I have spent many years laying on the uncomfortable ground, working on my cars, and now I don't have to. And yeah, it's amazing. So there you go. If you guys want any more information on any of this stuff, the lift, whatever, just let me know. I can make a follow-up video or whatever. So yeah. Let's see. Let's move over to here. This is my Quincy QT54 60-gallon 2-stage compressor. This is probably my third favorite thing, because my second favorite thing, it's that. I mean, honestly, this is, oh my God. If you live anywhere hot, if you live in Texas, if you live in Florida, if you live anywhere that's hot and humid, just get one. Just budget for it and just get it, period. Okay, I'll stop talking about that now. QT54 2-stage 60-gallon. I got the 60-gallon basically because I couldn't fit an 80. Again, if you look where this kind of runs across it, well, the post is, or my lift is kind of in the way, but it fits nicely between the 2-car door and the 1-car door. It's a big garage, but it actually I don't have a whole lot of space to put a compressor. The only place that could have had space when I first saw it, I was like, ooh, maybe over there there's a water softener. So that wasn't going to happen. Because the water here, we actually need it. I think everybody here has water softeners because the water's it's just not that great. So anyway, I love this compressor. It's amazing. It has handled everything that I have asked of it. I think it's maybe a year old at this point. I've used it quite a bit. Yeah, it's awesome. I'll run you through the setup here. I did a setup. There's videos on this as well. That's where I got the idea to do exactly what I did with this. Normally, this pipe right here runs straight down into the tank. So it comes out of the head and it goes straight down. Because this is a two-stage compressor, the air charge you get is very hot, okay? It flows a lot of CFM, which is great, but the air is very hot. So especially being in Texas, because it's so humid, you have to combat water in your lines, and just it's kind of a nightmare, especially when it's hot, and most of the time it is hot here. So I got this idea off of YouTube, actually. I have run a aluminum. This is all hand bent, which is, as you can see, the craftsmanship is just incredible. Ha ha. It works. Okay, it's not perfect, but it works very well. So the air, when this starts up, the air from this goes into this pipe, and it comes around, and it goes into the top of this radiator. This is a car. I think it's a car. What is it? I think it's a transmission radiator or something. It's pretty tiny, but the air charge goes into the top, goes through all those little thingies, and then it comes out the bottom. I think that is the technical term for this, the thingies. I think that's what it is, thingies. Comes out of the bottom, comes down here, goes into a water trap, which is automatic, so this drips water when it collects enough. And then it comes around the water trap, and then it goes into the tank. So when I run this, basically, if I run this for any length of time, this pipe right here gets very hot. Like it would burn your hands. Like if I were to run this and touch this, it would burn my hands. This stays stone cold. So I get a much cooler air charge by doing this setup. And I'll run this for a second for you so you can hear what it sounds like. If you're listening with headphones, maybe turn this down, or I don't know, it's going to be a little loud for a second. Just wanted to give you an idea of how loud it was. Yeah, the blow off is louder than the compressor. So it's not too loud, it's not super quiet, but it's not super loud. And I can run it in here and it's fine. The loudest part of this, as you heard, is the blow off. And also when I have to drain it, it gets super loud. So when I have to drain it, I usually just put on some sound headphones for to block out the sound, and then I run it because it does get quite loud when I try to drain it. Got the whip hose, comes around, and as you can see, it comes over there, and then it comes up here, and it goes into this piping. I've got this regulator that I have not plumbed yet. I will plumb this at some point, but I just haven't done it yet. This goes into some copper piping. I ran all this piping myself. The piping runs up. This part runs up, and I'll come around here. It runs up, and farther up I will show you where it runs to and out from, and then it runs back down here and into my hose reel. So not only do I have this cooling off my charge, I've also got, I think it's probably about 20 feet of, it's more than 20 feet because the ceilings are 16, so it's probably 30 feet of copper piping. And I'll show you where that routes to in a second. The only thing that was here when we first moved in was this loft. The loft was not extended to the stairwell as it is there. It was basically, it started from here and then it just kind of went straight that way. So the only way to get up there was with a ladder right there. And that was a huge pain in the butt. So we just recently had this extension put on so that I can access it from the stairs, and it's made it so much better. Not only can I access it easier, I've got a whole nother workspace up there, which is, I didn't actually think about that, but yeah, it's pretty awesome. So yeah, the one thing about that though, is you can see it's pretty dark over here. If you look over here, it's nice and bright because we've got the things, and then over here we've got overhead lights too, but of course the loft blocks the overhead lights, so it gets pretty dark. I wanted to put lights under here, but I didn't really have a way to turn them on and off, so I didn't have like a light switch the way these work. That switch up there powers that light, and it powers that light, which is now out, which at some point I will probably replace, but maybe not. Those are plugged into that. You can buy these adapters that you can plug into, as you can see up there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but basically that allows me to turn these on turn on the LED lights when I turn on those other lights, which provide zero light in this garage. That one really does provide zero because it's not working. Anyway, so I didn't have a sorry for the finger. I didn't have a way to turn these on and off. I didn't have a switch, and I didn't want to pay someone. I don't want to pay an electrician to run a switch. And so what I did was I have an Alexa over here, and she just piped up, so I have to be quiet. That was mostly for music and for other things, but it was mostly music. But I thought, well, I wonder if there's a way to automate it with that. And there was, and I'll show you. This is pretty cool. Check this out. Well, let me turn it this way. Alexa, turn on the loft lights. Check that out. Pretty cool, man. And it's, funnily enough, like now under here is brighter than over here because I have way more lights. But anyway, the way that I did that was I bought this. I think this cost $35. It's a little Bluetooth plug that you just plug in. It syncs up to Alexa. You can give it the command, and then you can turn it on and off. And I have it run, obviously, the plug, and it runs up there, then that goes into there, and it goes into all of my lights, which are very, very bright now. So I don't have a problem with it being too dark under here anymore. Come over here. This stuff isn't really terribly exciting. I got a little cabinet there. Water heater, or water softener. That's my scaffold. I can talk to you guys about any of this stuff extra if you want. A little closet here. This is just basically for my bikes. And it's pretty dark in here, so I set up a motion. It's a little motion sensor on the opposite side of this so that you can see in here. This is awesome. This is an electric bike. It goes like 20 miles an hour. It's amazing. Anyway. Closet. And I'll take you upstairs. So, as you can see, there's this banister was obviously here for safety reasons. It did not have a cutout. It just came right across because there was no thingy there. There was nothing there. It was just air. So we had this cut out so that I could step up easy enough. And I'm going to step up and come up to my top area. So up here, obviously, is my loft extension. And I've got, not only can I reach my loft, but I have more workspace. So got a Husky cabinet here. Got various things in the cabinet. Got a Husky tool cart, which is really cool. I really like this. It's got a nice amount of storage. Plus you get a workspace. I didn't want to have to build another bench. So this I wanted something to put some tools up here and also have a workspace. So it worked out perfectly. And I've got here are these are my nice paint guns. There's a couple Iwatas, and I've got all my other paint stuff here. I'm going to be doing some paint videos if you guys are interested in that as well. Let's see. Got this. I think I got this at Target. It was I think it was like $100 maybe. But I've got most of the aerosol stuff that I need, brake clean and just all kinds of stuff there. This is where I keep most of my this is where I keep my microfiber towels and these things. I think I got that at Target as well. Over here I got a Sonic cleaner, which is pretty awesome. A couple walkie-talkies for when I'm doing work around the house where I have to turn power on and off so that I don't get electrocuted, because my wife for some reason doesn't want me to mess around with stuff with the power on. I don't know why. I think there's pretty good life insurance on me, but go figure. Guess she wants me around. These cabinets, these are all PAC what do they pack something? I'll link them. They're pretty good. Got them on Amazon. These used to be downstairs because there was no way for me to access them up here, obviously. But bringing them up here, made sense because I have more space downstairs, and most of this stuff is all car detailing supply, clay, wax, etc., etc. Over here I've got some heat shrink tubing and some other stuff. A little compound right there. Oh, I use that for some electroplating that I did. If you guys are interested in electroplating, I can do something on that too. It's pretty fun. It's kind of tedious. It can be a big pain in the butt, but it's fun. Anyway, okay. So moving on, another Husky cabinet. Again, I've just got stuff, various things in here, oil, brake fluid, filters, etc. I got a Jurassic Park 3. That's a first aid kit, actually. My wife got that because she used to do movie stuff, and she got that as a promo. So I got a first aid kit up here, and it's Jurassic Park 3, so gotta love that. Moving on over here, got some shelving. I got that from Home Depot. Some of my irregular parts. If you notice, all my parts are clearly labeled. They're clearly labeled because I have bought the same part more than once, and I got tired of wasting money on parts that I didn't think I had. So now I don't do that anymore. Now I can just come up and I can just take a look. This is my main kind of part shelf. It has normal size parts. You can see every single thing on here has a label. Again, it's all facing out. Because I'm too lazy. So if something's not facing out, like this isn't facing out, but you can see right here it says 91 Mustang steering wheel. I can still read it. I probably need to put a thing there just in case. But everything on here I can read by coming up here because I'm too lazy. I won't actually turn the box around to see. I'm an idiot. So there you go. I make sure I label everything clearly so that I can see it. I got some more bins for storage. And then this Ferrari parts. Then I've got some old Mustang parts here. And those are just loose parts that don't really fit anywhere particular. So yeah. Got a hood here that I'm going to paint at some point. Got another couple hoods back there. Got a bumper that I'm also going to paint at some point. Got my race ramp cribs, which are friggin' amazing. Love those things. And then on top of this is just kind of temporary. I've just got a box with a bunch of other boxes in it for shipping stuff, because a lot of times I need a box and then I've just thrown away the box, and then I'm like, oh crap, I really could have used that box. So now when I get a box that I think I might use again for selling parts or whatever, I will keep it just in case, until it gets to a point where I can't keep it anymore. Yeah, so let's see, moving on over here. So up here, I told you before I had that copper piping. So the copper piping runs from down this way. It runs all the way up this wall, and you can't see it because of the boxes, but it runs all the way up. And then it turns, this is the inlet part. It turns here, goes all the way there, and I've labeled that because I'm too dumb to remember. This is the return line. This goes down, and then I've got the system that I've got set up is set up so that I don't have to use these filters if I don't want to. And most of the time I don't want to, because that filter, I'll just go over my filters. This is a Motor Guard. This is awesome. This is my first filter. It sucks out moisture. A lot of people call this a toilet paper filter. This is great. This gets out the majority of the water in the line if there's any in, and there usually is. And then it goes into, I think this is I don't remember what these two are. I think one is an oil filter and the other one's a coalescing filter, and then this one is a desiccant filter. But this desiccant right here, these beads, you can see they're blue. It's basically silica beads, same kind of stuff you get in packaging where it says don't eat that. It's like, yeah, that's the same stuff, except they change color. So when they get wet, they turn pink. So when this turns pink, you have to replace it. And it's not really cheap if you're doing that all the time, if you're using your compressor a lot, and I use my compressor a lot. And so if I don't need super ultra dry air, I just don't use these filters, and most of the time, honestly, I don't use them. The only time I really, really use them is if I'm painting something, or if I'm running an air tool like for an extended a period of time, but I've never really done that. So really, I just use them for painting. You can see these valves I have. This valve turned, I guess, off. That would be correct. And then this valve turned off. So what happens with the air is it comes down here and it just comes straight across because it hasn't anywhere to go. So it goes straight across and then it goes back up, back down here, and then it goes into the return line all the way down, and then it goes back down to my hose reel. If I want to use my filters, I can just turn that valve and turn those valves, and I can use my filters. I'll show you how I do that. I've got two drops here as well. One here, one here. They're both closed off. I'll leave them closed off. But these are good. Like if I run, I usually will drain those like, I don't know, once every couple weeks. If I've been working a lot up here, I'll drain all of the piping. So anyway, here we go. So if you see right here, I have a gauge right here. So it's on 0. So once I turn this, you can see now we've got quite a bit of pressure. And then I would have to also open that up. So now my air is going through here. It's going down there and then around there and then through here. I'm gonna pipe this one day maybe, I'm not sure. I set it up with hoses this way because I wasn't quite sure what I was gonna do with the setup. I didn't know how many filters I was gonna use, etc. So that's how it's set up, and it works fine, and I'm kind of too lazy to break out the Bernzomatic and the pipe and do more piping, so I've just left it for there. I've left it like that for now. I'm going to turn this back off, and I'm going to turn this back off, and I'm gonna you can watch how how this drains out. So there you go. Quite loud. Quite loud. Turn that back off, and there you go. We're back down to 0. And that's pretty much it. That's the tour of my garage. If you guys have any specific questions, or if I didn't cover something, or if you want me to cover something more, let me know. Oh, one thing I didn't go over was the floor. So if you see the floor, that also wasn't here. That was just concrete. I did the floor myself. It's the first time I've ever done it by myself. And it was pretty fun. I actually enjoyed it mostly. It's labor intensive, mostly the prepping the concrete. You have to grind the concrete and so on. That floor is a polyaspartic. It's a polyurea floor. Love the floor. Had the same kind of floor at my other place, and that's why I went with one here. At my other place, I had someone do it for me, and they did a pretty bad job. The only reason I had someone do it for me is because I'd never done it, and I was afraid I would screw it up. And to be perfectly honest, I should have just done it myself, because they managed to screw it up themselves, and I got to pay more money for it. Yay. So for this, I just paid for the materials and the rental of the grinder thingy and did it myself. And there's some spots that I would, if I were to do it again, I would do a better job. Mostly because I didn't. It dried on me a little too fast, because you can see there. This floor it's a big floor. I mean, it's a big garage. So I made the mistake of thinking that I could just paint everything at once and then throw the flake down. Big mistake, because what happened was the part that I painted first, which is over that away, dried. So the paint, the flake didn't actually sit down the way it should. And if you see right there, you can see there's kind of some strange modeling, and that's because there were spots where it was too dry and the flake didn't lay down very well. And then if you come over here, and this is the last part that I did, you can see this is a lot more uniform, and that's because this was all wet and it worked great. So if I were to do it again, I would do it in sections. But it still works perfectly well. It still works exactly as it should. Cosmetically, it's, maybe not as great as it could be, because I basically had to do the flake again. I had to roll it again so that I could put flake down. But yeah. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the tour of my garage. All right, guys. Later.